This is Sherry with Kids on First Foundation. This is my co-host. Go ahead and tell me your name.
My name is Hazen. I'm an intern, and I also attend Cristo Rey High School.
Awesome. And so we have decided to start an all-female podcast. Not just a female podcast. We are reaching out to women in baseball, not only to help young ladies learn about the game, but also careers in the game. With some huge things happening, like the WPBL and now the USAL, I believe. We'll have Lizzy touch on that a little bit. But our first guest is someone that I absolutely admire and love. She's younger than me, but she's where she needs to be at a very young age, which is super impressive. This is Lizzy Millner. Lizzy is from the Marlins organization. Good morning, Lizzy.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So Hazen is going to be running our podcast today. I will obviously be here to help a little bit, but why don't you go ahead and get started? Let's teach some girls about baseball.
The first question I would be asking will be, how did you first get interested in baseball?
So it actually started before I was born, I would say. My dad bought me a baseball glove the moment he found out he was having a girl. He was a little devastated, but he still bought the baseball glove because he wanted his child to play softball or baseball. So I would say it started that moment. And then from there, I loved it. So my first word was actually ball. And I started playing t-ball when I was 3 years old. I always knew I was interested in the game, and I played college softball at Southwestern Illinois College, and then I transferred to Southern Illinois Edwardsville, and I was the team softball manager there. I had an internship with the Cardinals and kind of just figured out how I could make a career out of it, because I knew obviously I was not going to, now they have professional softball, but I knew I wasn't going to play professional softball, so try to figure out how to make a career within baseball work.
Did you play any other sports also growing up?
I played basketball through middle school, but then I tore my ACL, so I gave that up because I wanted to focus on softball.
But now we've asked her about, right, she did college, she was a softball manager with the Cardinals, so now obviously she went to college, right? So what was her major in college? Or, did she know she wanted to work in baseball after playing it? So ask about college and stuff like that.
What was your major also?
Yeah, so I wanted to do sports management, but I thought that might limit me in case a career in sports didn't work out. So I actually chose business administration. I think that was a great choice. Obviously it worked out. I'm in baseball, but if 10 years down the road it doesn't work out and I want to get into business, I think I'll be happy that I chose that degree.
How do you also deal with confidence growing up with baseball?
Yeah, I think that I developed confidence at a pretty young age. I am an only child, and I kind of always commanded the room I was in, and I think that really stemmed from playing softball. I was a pitcher. I was 5 foot tall. Most pitchers are 6 foot. It's kind of strange to be 5 foot, so you have to have confidence to go out there and compete at a high level being so tiny. So I think that I've always been a little bit of a fireball in that sense, and that gave me confidence playing. And then once I kind of broke in baseball, it's weird. It's not weird. I guess you see more women now, but when I was with the Cardinals, I was one of 3 women. So, you're like a unicorn, kind of. You stand out, and I just rolled with it, and everybody respected me because I had respect for myself.
Did you have any hardships also with your path?
My biggest hardship, I'd say, was tearing my ACL when I was 14. Most people don't tear their ACL that young, and so that was really hard for me. I couldn't even walk for 2 weeks. So, it kind of just gave me an appreciation for a lot of things, not just softball, but, we take being able to walk for granted every day, and that was tough. It was a tough time, and I ended up recovering in 4.5 months, and most ACL recovery time is 6 months to a year. It taught me a lot.
You got any recovery tips for anybody?
Yeah, work hard. I did my rehab for 2 hours every day. So most people don't do that, and I was really dedicated to it.
Did also you turn your ACL, did that break down your confidence or anything?
I would say a little bit. I was, scared going out there and pitching again because I didn't want it to happen again. So it kind of put a little fear in me. But then once I got over that hump, I would say I was fine again. I got the confidence right back.
All right, I'm gonna kind of like change a little bit. But what skills or classes helps you the most for the kind of job that you have now?
I would say classes, nothing really helped me for this. It sounds funny, but I was in business classes. I mean, learning micro and macroeconomics didn't help me to get to baseball. I think my biggest things that got me here is my communication skills and being able to talk to people. I think that that's something that Rachel, the farm director for us, picked up on pretty fast when I was a fellow or an intern, whatever. I think that's really what got me to where I am now, just the strong communication skills I have and being able to give good customer service. It's not just to our players, but to our staff. You know, I'm always very responsive if it's 6 in the morning or 10 at night. And I think that that's my biggest skill set.
How did you land your role with the Marlins? Was it like networking, school, internships, or anything else?
Yeah. So it's kind of a long story, but I'll try and make it short. It started with the Cardinals. I had an internship with them when I was in college in the summer, and I was in ticket sales, and I didn't want to be in ticket sales. I wanted to be in baseball operations, but tried to get my foot in the door. So I would reach out to people and email them and say, "Hey, do you want to grab a coffee, or do you want to go on a walk around the stadium?" And I was really lucky that a lady in baseball operations actually answered me, and we ended up connecting, and she told me to apply for a video and technology role in baseball operations. So I applied and I actually got that job, and I started that in February 2023, and I hadn't even graduated yet. So I was working full time doing spring training. Anybody in baseball knows that spring training goes from about 6 a.m. to 7 p.m., 6 days a week. And then I was also a student full time. So that was really tough, but obviously I didn't turn down the opportunity. I wanted to do it. And so I moved to Florida. I worked for the Cardinals for a year, and they share a complex down here with the Miami Marlins. So I met a lot of people with the Marlins, and the Cardinals didn't renew my contract that year. So I texted some of my connections at the Marlins, and I had a job that day. And I've been with the Marlins ever since. So that was around 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years and a week. Yeah, 2 years and a week ago.
When we were having our classes, the Marlins classes, we were talking about how you said essentially take the ticket sales job, take it, because the most important thing is at MLB or at cardinals.com on the back of that email, right?
Mhm.
So, can you talk to a little bit about that confidence? Yes, you reached out to those contacts, but did you feel in that spot that that's where you belonged? Was that something that you felt by this time leaving the Cardinals, that you were confident enough to reach out to someone and say, "Hey, I know enough about this. I'm ready to make this leap"?
Yeah, I mean, I think that I always had that confidence just from playing, softball at such a high level, and I've always been around baseball. I was an umpire for 8 years, so
Oh,
I
that's
thought that,
cool. I did not
yeah,
know that.
yeah. So I kind of always thought, I mean, the ticket sales people are obviously very passionate about baseball, and I'm very passionate about baseball, but I kind of knew that there was a different side of me that understood the game, a lot better than them. So I knew that I fit in ticket sales, but I knew that I really fit in baseball operations. And so when I reached out to people and, they would ask me baseball related questions, I was confident that I would be able to answer them.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. All right.
What do like a typical day of what you do with the operation, like as an operational assistant with the Marlins look like?
Yeah, it really varies on the time of year. Like right now, it's technically the off season. I'm still working every day, but it looks a lot different in spring training, a lot different in season. So I'll kind of just explain. My role's a little different now. I'm more administrative, but I'll kind of break it down. When I was with the FCL team, a day in spring training, I guess, I would usually get to field around 6:30, and I would be in charge of 2 van runs with the guys. So I would drive a 20 passenger van to the hotel to pick the players up and then bring them to the practice, and then I do it again. So that was definitely funny. I'm 5 foot again, so driving a 20 passenger van was a lot for me. I was scared, but I did it. And then from there, I was still kind of in video, so I would set up TrackMan for our hitters in the cages, and I'd set it up for our pitchers, and we would get that set up really early just because you want it to be ready, and the day is jam-packed once it starts. So usually big league camps in the morning, so we would be with big leaguers from maybe 8:30 to noon, And then from there, we would be with the minor leaguers. So that would be from around noon to 4, the back half of the day. Then from there, we would upload everything, which took a lot of time. You'd have to cut everything up so that, it's not just an hour-long pitching session. We'd have to chop up each individual pitch or each individual at bat. And then from there, I would do a van run to get the players back to the hotel, do 2 of those, and then the day would wrap up around 6:30, I'd say, at night. That's spring training. And then once season started with the rookie ball team, I would get to the field around 7:30 every day, and it just depended on what the daily schedule was that day. But I was in charge of sending the rosters out every morning to the teams we would be playing. I would coordinate our umpires for the week, our bus schedule for the next week, and then also our hotel rooming list, because I'd manage that as players came and went. So we also had rehab at the Jupiter facility, so that would be a big task, managing their flights and their hotel accommodations as well. And then also I oversee still the whole minor league affiliate housing. So just if we had any moves, I was responsible for emailing our housing company saying, hey, this player is going to be arriving to our AAA today. Make sure his housing's taken care of. And then from there, usually head out to the field. We would do competitions. We're still doing those. It just varied day by day, but I usually was with infield, and so I would be responsible for keeping track of their points and their velocities across the infield. And then we usually had a game that started at noon, so I would make sure we had everything we needed, rosters printed out, make sure the umpires were taken care of, turn on the scoreboard, turn on the music, kind of manage that. And then the game would wrap up around 3:30. From there, you kind of just clean up and head home around 4 usually, and that was 6 days a week. Now, I would just say that making sure everything runs smoothly. I think the best news is no news, like not hearing anything from anybody that there's anything that's wrong, because there's so many moving parts, and every day. Right now it is the off season, so it's pretty calm, but during season, making sure that all the guys are taken care of at every affiliate and not getting any text saying, I don't have a room to go to tonight. That's not good. So kind of just making sure everything goes smoothly and not having any hiccups every day.
Do you got any favorite baseball players?
Yeah, I would say I love watching Shohei Ohtani. I think that he's amazing, and I don't know if we're ever going to see a player like him again. So I would say watching him's been amazing. Obviously, the World Series just wrapped up. Watching Yamamoto pitch back-to-back days was crazy. But yeah, I would say overall Shohei Ohtani. I'm sorry, it's not a Marlins player. I guess I should be saying a Marlins player, but overall, I just think he's amazing to watch. He's really fun.
Do you have any favorite baseball memories at work also?
Yeah, my favorite baseball memories outside of work, first I'd say, is I was at the 2006 and 2011 clinching games for the Cardinals. I'm from St. Louis, so I was actually there when they won both World Series, which was so cool. Still remember it, the confetti dropping. I mean, it was just amazing. And so I would say those 2 memories not in my career were my favorite. And then once I started working, grew up a lifelong Cardinals fan. The first day I was with the Cardinals in Florida, I'm in the cages with Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt and the whole team, and it was insane. It was a pinch me moment, and I was with them all of spring training, so that was really, really, really cool. I mean, that's what you dream of, and so that's probably my favorite moment working. But I've been around a lot of great players. Luis Ariz was with the Marlins, Jazz was with the Marlins, and they were both great as well.
So, are there any things that you think young ladies should know, or things you want to know about playing baseball?
Actually, right now I'm a 10th grader, so I would feel like if I do want to play softball or baseball, I feel like it's too late. Do you ever think that it's too late for somebody to actually make it to the D3, D2, or either D1 or JUCO level in such at a late time now?
I mean, it's never too late to start. I say this of my pro ball prep, don't be the one to tell yourself no. Make other people tell you no. So even if you try out and you don't make it, at least you tried. So I would always say just try, because no matter what it is, you don't want to be the one to tell yourself no. So it's 10th grade. You know what? You're not going to be as good as the people who started when they were 3 years old, but maybe in the next 2 years you will be. So why not just try and, make somebody else tell you no.
You got any other questions for her? None you can think of right now? No, that's okay. And you know what? This is always something that we can grow on and work on, and we can always have her back for another series, because she does teach really cool classes. What about Marlins initiatives right now? What do you guys have going on? Anything in the community? I do know you have your prep ball thing. I know that you spearheaded that. Is there anything in the Marlins community going on that you're really excited about?
So I'm a little disconnected from the community relations portion just because that's in our sales side and I'm in the baseball operations side. I'm sure they're
Cool.
doing things out in the community. They always are, but I unfortunately don't really know what they are right now.
Okay. All right. So, what about baseball operations? You guys just had a huge announcement with Gabe taking over as general manager. Has that impacted your day, or is that just something that it affects you, but not really? Like, how do promotions and stuff like that work for you in your job?
I mean, I was super excited when I heard. Obviously, I reached out and congratulated him. I talked to him on the phone yesterday, and it's awesome working for him. He's been, I would say, really impactful to my career. When I started with the Marlins, I was just a fellow, and I knew Gabe from the Phillies, and he was the manager there and the Giants. And so when I first met him, I was like, oh my God, that's Gabe Kaffler. My eyes lit up. Like, this is so cool. And he's just an amazing person. I think that he's been a great mentor for me. He's given me a lot of opportunities to do things I wouldn't do in any other organization. And so I was super happy for him. As it affects my day to day, not really. He's going to keep doing the same job that he's been doing the last 2 years. It's just a promotion for him, just a title change. That's what he told me. I'm still going to be doing the same things, Lizzy. I was like, I know, but super
That's
happy for him, and he definitely deserves it.
Um, I was wondering if you had like any, not really like workouts, but any like tips.
Ooh.
For
Um,
playing
like
softball,
yes,
tips, I would just say go out there every day. I mean, I loved playing. It was so much fun. Playing in the college was the best memories I have, and so being able to go out there with my teammates who are still my best friends it was so cool. And yeah, I mean, just go out there every day, have fun.
awesome. One more. I was wondering like how to get like more recruitment and everything, and have like better process. You want to have a lot more exposure. So, like dealing with that, you got any like advice or tips about going like to camps or
Yeah, I
like
mean, I would
your
definitely
team?
say now it's nice because social media is so prevalent. So, taking videos of yourself is easy. You can have a tripod and it can videotape, what you're doing. So I think sharing that on Twitter, and there's other platforms for recruiting out there now. I would share it there. Going to camps is definitely important. I mean, showing your face, showing your talent is always important to anybody for anything. So doing that never hurts. But yeah, like I said, social media is so big. Get yourself out there on social media.
Thank you. I just yeah, that was just one of the major questions I wanted to ask.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we would like to say thank you, Lizzy, again for doing this for us. This is really awesome. You're going to be her first person, so this is definitely a learning thing, and I just really appreciate you being willing to do that. So,
Yeah. You did a great
thank
job.
you.
Thanks for having
Thank
me.
you. Thank you for also putting your time in to do this with
Of
us.
course.